I'm only good for vacation. No, for that.
Afternoon show, we own the night. Champions scream under the light.
This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
Heroes fall and legends rise. Twist of fate in our eyes. Heads held high, never compromise.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Take the flight.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay McLovin here on the afternoon show on Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Got Tony, we got Frankie C, and we got Gonzo Chris on the show. What a time to be alive with all the injuries and all the upsets. Tony, floor is
Yeah, but
yours.
we're having a heat wave here. It's like 8 degrees.
It was 31 degrees last night, Tony. I was out there wrapping plants. Melanie had me out there wrapping plants.
It got down, I think, minus 10 here. Not
Yeah.
counting the wind chill, but probably about minus 30 for the wind chill. But yeah, we're trying to get warmed up. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Let's give some NFL scores, and we'll talk some games and some injuries, and we'll go from there. First of all, Baltimore defeated Cincinnati 24-0. Philadelphia all over the Raiders 31-0. Houston defeated Arizona 40-20. The Chargers ended KC's playoff run, defeating them 16-13. Buffalo defeated New England. What was the final score of that one?
35-31.
35-31. Okay, I had as a tie. I can't write. Okay, Jacksonville 48, Jets 20. Washington 29, the Giants 21, Chicago 31, Cleveland 3, Seattle defeated the Colts 18-16. New Orleans upset Carolina, beat them twice this year. New Orleans over Carolina 2017, San Francisco all over Tennessee 37-24. The Rams outlasted Detroit 41-34. Minnesota over Dallas 34-26. Guys, let's jump right into some of the games. Let's jump into the probably the best game of the day. I would probably think Buffalo and New England. New England got off to a fast start. Let's do the stats here real quick. Buffalo 349 total yards, 181 passing, 168 rushing. They had no turnovers. Had the ball 35 minutes. New England 385 total yards, 139 passing, 246 rushing, man. They really rushed the ball well against that Buffalo defense, which was not surprising. And then they did have an interception, but only had the ball 24 minutes. The big thing here, I mean, Buffalo had a big lead, 24-7 at half. And like Frankie said before the show, Buffalo's quarterback went crazy like he normally does and very capable of doing. And they outscored New England 28-7. So a really good game, and let's go right to Frankie.
Yeah, yeah, it was really a good game in my part. I was happy in the first half, going into halftime 24-7, and I'm over here thinking to myself, listen, I can't get too excited because of what Buffalo did the week prior to Cincinnati. And it's just like I said, it's Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things, right? I mean, he's been in this situation before plenty of times. This is a veteran quarterback that's, knows the situation at this late into the season. I think Buffalo went into the locker room at halftime with a little prep compared to what the Patriots did. I'm pretty sure the Patriots went into the locker room thinking that they already had this locked up. But you got to play 60 minutes of football. I mean, you got to do it. You can't just go in the first half and feel confident because you're up 24-7. But it was still a competitive game at the end. Buffalo took the lead, and then Trevion Henderson with the 64-yard rushing touchdown to give the Patriots back the lead. It's just you gave Josh Allen and the Bills too much time with close to 10 minutes left on the quarter. You got to pick it up there. I'm not mad at my boys. I'm not upset with my boys. This is learning experience from all these young men against Josh Allen. It's a good game. It really was. But at the end of the day, Patriots are still on top. We're one game ahead of Buffalo now. all I need is for Buffalo to lose one game, and I'm guaranteed that the Patriots can win 2 out of the next 3. I'm not going to guarantee a next week's win because we got a tough game next week, Sunday night, against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, who, Tony, you just said shut out the Cincinnati Bengals. But I'm expecting a good game in that one as well. This is a learning experience from Drake May. This is a learning experience from everyone on that offense. And this is also a learning experience on the defense. You cannot let your feet off the pedal on the defensive side of the ball, especially against a team like the Buffalo Bills. So a lot to improve, a lot to, look on the tapes and see what we did wrong and, make the wrongs right. I'm hoping Mike Vrabel, as a good coach that he is, and I expect Mike Vrabel to be that good coach that he is step up and say, listen, we got to play 60 minutes of football. We cannot be playing only half passing it on the first half and thinking we got a comfortable lead. It can't happen. But at the end of the day, Tony, I feel like it was a good game. Yeah, we blew a lead. It's not the first time I've seen the Patriots blow a lead, and it won't be the last time I'll see the Patriots blow a lead. But when the division title is on the line against a team that has owned that division the last 5 years, it would have been a good win. It would have been a good solidified win against that team. But we still have high hopes, and I think we get it done in the next 2 weeks, hopefully, because the Bills do got Philadelphia in 2 weeks.
Yeah, Frankie, I agree with you. I think that a lot of people don't believe there's no such thing as a good loss. I think this was a good loss for New England. They see what they got to do. I think if they would have kept on winning, it could have been fool's gold a little bit. But now I don't think it will be. I think this will help prepare them for the playoffs. And I think it's an important game for them. I think I agree with you. I think the coach will have them ready. And the only downside to this loss is Denver now has a home field. And I think that was important for New England as far as having a shot to make it to the Super Bowls to have home field. But hey, nothing's guaranteed. New England played well. For the most part, like you said, you're going up against one of the best quarterbacks, probably a top 10 quarterback of all time, probably when it's all said and done. So, he ain't like this for the first time he's done what he did. So, New England will come off the mat, I think, pretty well in the next few weeks. Chris, your thoughts?
To me, this was a tale of two games, and the big difference in the first half and the second half was first half the Patriots ran for almost 200 yards. I think they ended up having 180 yards rushing in the first half.
Yeah,
and the second half they were able to run for about 60 yards. And Buffalo was able to get their run game with James Cook going a little bit. But yeah, it was two good teams. Both of them played a good half of football. Neither team played a whole game. Both of them played a good half, and Buffalo's second half was able to get them just enough to get the win. But I think the big thing and the big turning point in that game to me was the second half where New England wasn't able to run the ball like they were the first half. First half, Drake May was running the ball. Henderson, everybody was running the ball. And then the second half, that run game got slowed down a little bit. But no, I think we'll see these two teams go at it again, and it'll be another real good game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Jay, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think Chris kind of had it pretty much right the nail on the head. Tell of two halves. 148 yards. Was it 52-yard and a 65-yard scamper by Trevion Henderson that first half. That second half, it looked like that was a little bit more Buffalo with Dalton. Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid? Both those tight ends were doing really well. I think Dalton Knox went up with 2 touchdowns. There was one where I think Dalton Kincaid had I think he got like the setup pass where it's like a 14 or 15-yard reception. And then the next one was the big one to Dalton Knox, which got the touchdown. But yeah, you got 107 yards from Cook. You got 2 touchdowns from Knox. Like I said, Josh Allen said, look, as long as I got the ball in my hands, we can make things happen. And they did. In that second half, they made things happen. One of the big weaknesses is with Buffalo is that run defense. They gave up a lot of rushing yards that first half. Now, they did, like Chris said, they did clamp it down that second half. But again, that's still over 200 yards of rushing in a game. So they have to do a better job, at stopping the run. The Bills do. If in terms of the Patriots, They just, like you said, they just have to continue to do what they did in that first half, that second half, and it's just the consistency of it, right? But ultimately, it was a good game against two rivals. They went at it, and it was a 4-point differential. I think both these teams possibly have a shot at making the playoffs, depending on what Buffalo or New England can do depending on how it turns out. Like what Frankie said, I think he needs Buffalo to lose one more game in order for them to get the division. But either way, man, my biggest thing I want to leave with this is when it comes to New England, they've got a hell of a good start at rebuilding that franchise from what it was. Vrabel comes in. He's really turned this team around, got them doing great things. But it's too fast, too quick, and I just don't believe that they're going to get the job done all the way through the playoffs. So I think, Frankie, I still think you guys got some work to do, some fine-tuning to do on that team. But you got to like what year one looks like under Vrabel. You got to like it.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love it, and I've been saying it for a while now. I mean, it's just the start, it's just the beginning. He cleaned house when he came in. He got new players to come in there, and next year he saved up about $54 million in cap space this season. That's going to add into the cap space next year, which is going to give us the highest cap space next year as well, with 11 total draft picks. It's just the beginning, and to have us look like this in the start of Mike Vrabel's coaching career as a New England Patriot head coach, it shows great future for us. It really does. It kind of shows me of how like Patrick Mahomes started off with the Chiefs. So I'm absolutely with you, Jay. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and like, listen, Randy, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like, if we lose next week's game, yeah, we're gonna be in it. But I wouldn't consider us a first round exit. I really wouldn't. I feel like Drake May is still, a competitive quarterback that can get a win. The defense is going to come back healthy, because everybody's forgetting that we don't have Milton Williams right now because he's got hurt, but he'll be back by playoffs. Will Campbell, that's Drake May's blind protector, he's going to be back. And we'll be back. Oh, you want to get a take in this, Carson? This is my turn. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think we'll be back at the full swing, and I think we'll most likely make it to the divisional round, or to the AFC Championship, most definitely. But listen, we had 10-game winning streak. I think this was a loss that we needed to get, in our heads, to finally be like, all right, we lost a game. Let's see what we did wrong. Let's get back on the winning circle now, and let's go back out there and let's finish these last 3 games of the season strong. But I agree with you, Jay. It's the beginning, brother.
I do like what Randy said, though. He said, look, you guys got punched in the mouth by Buffalo. I want to see how you guys come back in this next game. If you guys come back and dominate and do it in a very good way, then we can say, okay, they had that one punch. Now they're remembered. Okay, the heads got too big. If you come back and you blow out the next game, then okay, that's great. I think you're back on track. If you lose that next game, though, I think that's going to solidify. You're going to make the playoffs no matter what, but it's got to make you think, okay, they couldn't come back from that punch in the mouth. How far can this team really go if you can't come back from a tough loss?
Well, I'm not gonna look at it as like that. I want it to be competitive. Stay close with it, because next game we got Baltimore. It's Lamar Jackson, former MVP. They also got Derrick Henry in the backfield. They have a good defense led by John Harbaugh. So I mean, it's a good team over there in Baltimore. If we lose, we lose. I don't want to get blown out. Make it competitive, like we did with Buffalo. We lost by 4. Cool. We beat them by 3. That's competitive football in week 5. If we go into Baltimore and we lose Baltimore, but we lose by 3, that's showing me that, okay, Drake May and the Patriots can hang on. They're just not there yet to win against these good teams and these good quarterbacks. But we can compete and show that we have the ability to win these games when the time is right and when we have the actual personnel on the team. It's still the beginning, Jay, like you said. It's just the start, brother.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. Next game, guys, let's go to the LA Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. LA won this game 16-13. Big things coming out of this one. Mahomes gets hurt. He's going to be out for a while. I don't know. I doubt if he would start the season next year. I wouldn't think so. And Casey's out of the playoffs for the first time since, well over 10 years. So the Chargers had 295 total yards, 201 yards passing, 94 rushing. They did get sacked 4 times, had 1 interception, but did have the ball 34 minutes. KC had 239 total yards, 190 passing, Only 49 rushing. That hurt. They got sacked 5 times and 2 interceptions. Let's go to Chris first. Your thoughts on this game, Chargers KC?
This game was about what I thought it was going to be. I figured it'd be a low-scoring, kind of ugly game because that's about how both these teams have played this year. Chargers are trying to get a little bit healthy on offense. Hiller quarterback just 2 weeks removed from a hand surgery and has played, or actually not 2 weeks, about a week and a half, and has played 2 games in that period of time. But to me, it comes down to the same thing New England's had all year. They just can't make that big play when they need to. If you watch all their games, every loss they've had has been almost by 1 possession. It's all been close games, and these are the games they won last year. Last year they won all these close games. This year they're losing them, and the Chargers are kind of reverse of that now. The Chargers usually always lose these 1 possession games, and now with Jim Harbaugh there, they're starting to win these these 1 score games they used to lose and keep them out of the playoffs. But no, it went about what I expected. Chargers defense played pretty good. Herbert made plays when he had to, and then of course for the Chiefs, not only were they already out of the playoffs, they lost their big time quarterback for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. So wasn't a good day for the Chiefs at all, but big win for the Chargers to get them to 10-4 and keep them where they want to be.
Yep. Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Chris kind of had that right. It was a big game. I think it was a bigger game for the Chargers just because I think the Chiefs knew that their playoff aspirations weren't exactly the best, right, with their record and whatnot. But the Chargers definitely had something to play for with the wild card and or possibly even the division. So it was a big game for the Chargers. Chiefs was devastated a little bit because Patrick Mahomes obviously took that ACL hit. I think you might see Patrick Mahomes maybe mid-season next year, depending on how fast he can heal back from that ACL. But I would say probably maybe like mid-season next year, possibly. But yeah, look, they couldn't run the ball, right? Neither team could really run the ball. I think the Chargers were averaging about 3.1 yards a carry. I think the Chiefs were averaging like 2.3 or 2.4. And then they had 45 yards rushing. So it's not like they could run the ball. They passed the ball fine. Pat did have 2 interceptions, but at the end of it, they just get outperformed. They get outplayed. And unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes took the hit. That was a big hit to take, I think, but we were talking about in pre-show. I'm wondering where the Chiefs go from here. Do they retool and say, look, Kelsey's done. Most likely he's going to retire. Pat's not going to be back till mid-season. Who's your big playmakers? Your defense is still a little suspect. I mean, they have a lot of things in that Chiefs team that needs to be looked at and redone. So I think the Chiefs dynasty is kind of come to an end. I don't think you're going to see more of that Chiefs dynasty, but I do look forward to see the next chapter of Patrick Mahomes and the rebuild mode. Does he stay there and go through the rebuild, or does he try to go someplace else that doesn't have a rebuild? I think he's going to stay there, but it's going to be curious to see where the Chiefs go.
Mahomes only threw 1 interception.
Yeah,
I thought it was 2 he had thrown.
No, Gardner Minshew threw the other interception in the last 10 seconds of the game. Mahomes only missed like 20 seconds of the game. He didn't miss that much of the game, but Mahomes only threw 1 interception in that game.
Yeah. I didn't catch. I watched the Chiefs on Red Zone, so I didn't get to catch the last 10 seconds of it because I was watching most of it on Red Zone. But yeah, that sucks though. But yeah,
I think the big key for Kansas City to rebuild is they've got to get a running game. Even more now than ever without him for the first half and for the rest of his career. He needs help at the running, be able to run the football better. So I think that's one of the big things they've got to come up with. Frankie, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I'm going to be opposite from Chris and Jay, and I'm just going to sit here and say I'm absolutely proud that the Kansas City Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs. I'm actually proud that the Chargers beat them and swept them twice in this year. And I'm actually proud that this is probably going to be the last time we see Travis Kelce in a Chiefs uniform. Listen, as a Patriot fan, I'm sick and tired of everybody comparing Patrick with Tom, which this is another example, right? And I'm saying it out here. Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL in the same amount of time where Tom Brady did after Tom Brady won his 3 Super Bowl rings. All right, he leads the Patriots to the Super Bowl in 2007. He loses it to the Giants. Same way with Patrick Mahomes. He leads the Chiefs to the Super Bowl in 24, loses it to the Eagles. The next following year, they both tear their ACLs. It's an exact same amount of time, 10 years into the league or whatever like that. Patrick Mahomes needs to stop being like Brady. Can you walk away? I'm talking about Brady and Mahomes. Get out of here. I'm tired of people comparing it, and then like you see something like that, and it's like, oh my God, like Patrick Mahomes got to do this. I enjoy this. I really do. I don't feel bad for Patrick Mahomes. I really don't. I mean, it sucks. You tore your ACL, but every quarterback has done it. Every person has teared the ACL before. It's more of the fact, like, and I hear Jay, he's probably gonna be back mid-season next year, possibly not. We still haven't heard the grade of the injury. It could be grade 1, grade 2. If it's grade 3, if it's a grade 3 tear on the ACL, he's out for 12 months. That's a full year. So we're not gonna see him back next year at all. If I'm the Chiefs, I wouldn't even start him if it's a grade 3. But Chris, look at me when I say this. You got to be happy. Fuck the Chiefs. Excuse my language. They've been in this damn thing for goddamn too long, and it's about time we get some new faces in the AFC playoff. And this is coming from a Patriot fan who was back in the day always in the driver's seat of the AFC playoffs. But I feel good right now. Am I happy that he tore his ACL? No. I don't want to ever see a player tear their ACL. I don't even feel proud for Micah Parsons. I know Jay does, because Jay's over there like, oh, Jerry Jones is right. I know Jay does.
What if it was Kevin Durant that tore the ACL?
If it was Kevin Durant, that's a whole different thing. I know if it's an ACL tear, then that, we'll talk about that another time when it happens. It'll be even more special now because he's on the Houston Rockets. But that'll be another time. But I don't want to wish this on Patrick Mahomes, especially with a player like him. He's a great player, and it sucks. It just so happened it had to happen on this year where they don't look that good at all. Like they're fully depleted. Like the run game, like you guys have said, the run game that I'm not even gonna mention the run game because they haven't had one all year. So there's no point in actually like caring about that run game because are we really gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, man, the Chiefs, that run game, they only have 43 yards, Of course they have 43 yards, guys. They've been having 43 yards or less all damn year. The only person that was running is Patrick Mahomes. And look what happened. It finally caught up to him. You want to run and scramble on the play, boom, tear your ACL. There's a bunch of people out there that are like, oh, that was a dirty hit. That was a dirty hit. No, it was a clean tackle. He just tweaked it wrong. It sucks, but it happened.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, guys, let's move on to the Rams versus Detroit. Rams 140-134. Rams 519 total yards, 159 yards rushing, 360 passing. Only had one interception. Had the ball 33 minutes. Detroit 396 total yards, 70 yards rushing, 326 yards passing, and only had the ball 26 minutes. Detroit got off to a fast start and got the lead. But again, we've talked before, guys, on the show. Detroit is good when they can run the football, and they only ran the ball for 70 yards. And I think that's the big thing. Their offense goes as they run the ball, and then it opens up their passing game. And they just couldn't get the run going. Another big win for the Rams. They're in a tough division right now. I do think they would be the number 1 seed overall in the NFC, but things are still tight with Seattle and other teams. So Frankie, your thoughts on the Rams and Detroit?
Yeah, I actually thought this was a good game. It truly was. This looked like it could have been an NFC championship moment right here. It was totally dominant in the first half by the Detroit Lions. I was really shocked and surprised that they couldn't get nothing on the ground done. It just goes to show that the Rams got a really good defensive line and a good stop in the run on the defensive part. But what got to me was Puka Nacua finally showed up. I mean, he always shows up, but for some odd reason against the Detroit Lions, like he was going on a tear. He's catching passes and he's getting wrapped up by 3 Detroit Lion defenders, and he's still not going to the ground, and he's pushing and pushing. That dude is a goddamn monster. Excuse my language again. I'm sorry. But when we're talking about good players and a good team like the Rams right now, all you can do is just be super excited because you're watching some good football right now out of Matthew Stafford, and you're watching some good football right now out of Puka Nacua. The one thing that caught my eye is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm glad that he dominated the way he did. And I felt like the Lions should have never pulled back on that. they got the 2 touchdowns with him, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. I felt like they just stopped throwing the ball to him. But other than that, I think this was an absolute game, and I agree with you, Tony. I think the Rams are the best team right now in the NFC. The same with Jay. I think Jay's been saying it too. I think Jay's been saying either the Rams or the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But for right now, to me, it's
I think we lost Frankie, or maybe. Oh, there's Carson. Good time.
yeah, I'm here. I just got so many kids around me talking. I'm trying to like tell them to shut the hell up. But yeah, I think right now in the NFC it's got to be the Rams, Tony.
Okay, Jay, your thoughts on the game?
Oh, on the game, because if it was not having too many kids around me, I'm like, maybe you got to think about duct taping. I can't say that out loud. No. The game itself, Detroit and Rams. It's good. I really thought when the Tua went down, I wasn't sure what happened to him, because when he tried to get up and then he fell back down on his arm, I was like, oh God, maybe it's, but it turns out it wasn't, which is good. I'm glad it wasn't anything serious, right? Same thing with Devontae Adams. I really thought when he pulled up like that, I thought he really blew out that hamstring. But now it looks like he could be back soon, hopefully. So, at the end of the there we go. Thank you. I think yeah. I'm just kidding. I don't believe in duct taping anything other than anything automotive. But that's besides the point. My point I was going with that before I got inside the rail was you're right. They could not get that run game going. I mean, would they have like 70 yards? I think they lost the time of possession by like 5 or 6 minutes. I mean, there was a lot of things that went the Rams' way that didn't go Detroit's way. And again, it goes back to Detroit just being inconsistent. I think they're being inconsistent for most of the year. And I think that's just another part of it. And the Rams, I have said that, and I think Chris has been saying it. The Rams are probably the best team in the NFL. I think Seattle's right behind them at number 2 in the NFL. And then you can put anywhere you want after that, whether it be the Broncos or Eagles or whatever at number 3 or 4, whatever. But yeah, the Rams and the Seattle Seahawks, those are the 2 best teams. And I think we saw that. And I think Green Bay is not going to be challenging nobody right anytime soon with their injuries. So it's still kind of, I still feel like that division could be, or Detroit could stay alive in that division, but it's going to be tough for the next, we got like 3 games left. And I think they're on the outs right now.
Yeah, they're on the outs right now. But I think they do play. I'm not sure on their schedule. I think they still have a game with Green Bay or Chicago, so that could help them. But Chris, your thoughts on this ball game?
It was a good game. Difference in the game was the third quarter. The Lions came out hot in that first half, got the lead. Rams was able to get back in it. Then the third quarter, the Rams scored 17 points, and the Lions scored 0. And then in the fourth quarter, the Lions outscored the Rams. That third quarter, the Rams got hot, and Lions weren't able to stop them. And then plus, it was the Rams able to run the ball. Rams had 2 guys close to 100 yards rushing, and the Lions couldn't get their run game going. So to me, that was the big difference. The 2 big differences in the game was the third quarter. Rams really outplayed the Lions in that third quarter coming out of the locker room. Lions got it back in the fourth quarter, but it was a little bit too late. And then the rushing game, Lions not being able to run the ball, and the Rams being able to run the ball. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people always say that they think the Rams running game is their weakness, and that to me, that was what won them the game yesterday. What was their running game?
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, that's always been kind of a question mark, the consistency with the running game. But if that running game plays like that, man, right now, I think the Rams are the best team in football. Now, best team in football don't always win the Super Bowl, but I do think they're the most complete team offensively and defensively.
How's it going, Hank?
Yeah, Hank.
It's interesting to me, though, because if you think about it, like Chris was saying, man, he had 2 guys that's almost 160 yards on the ground and damn near 400 yards in the air. I mean, the Detroit defense just really did not show up for the majority of that game. You know, when you look at the amount of yardage they gave up and the amount of touchdowns they gave up in the run and on the offense, it's crazy.
Yeah. So Detroit's defense has been inconsistent all year. Guys, let's move on to the next game. Seattle and Indy. Seattle won 18-16. Seattle had 6 field goals. Coach did a great job defensively. Let's look at the stats. Seattle only had 313 total yards, only 49 rushing. They gave up 1 sack. Colts, of course, was very anemic on offense, 215 total yards of offense, 97 rushing. They only give up a sack, had 1 interception. That was at the end of the game where Rivers was trying to make a play. And look, I thought the Colts did an incredible job defensively. I got to give them a lot of credit. And honestly, I think if you can keep Seattle from hitting the big play with the receivers, I question their offense a little bit. Their offense didn't look great. They didn't run the football. And we're talking about a depleted Colts offense missing 3 of their best players. And I think the Colts defense really stepped up. It's going to be interesting to see what the Colts do the rest of the year. Do you play Rivers? Do you play the young quarterback? I have mixed feelings both ways. But let's go to you, Chris. What do you think the Colts? What do you think about the game, and what do you think the Colts might do at quarterback?
Yeah, it was a good game. Colts pretty much the whole game done what they needed to do to win that game, and then good old Shane Steichen decides to get real conservative again at the end of the game. I understood you had to go into that game with a little bit of a conservative game plan because you're starting a new quarterback that hasn't played for you before. That he's played for you before, but not this season. Just signed with you 4 days ago, and he's also 44. So yeah, you're going to be a little conservative. And the game plan was working perfect. And then you get to the end of the game, you got 2 minutes left. You're down 1. All you got to do is go down and get a field goal. You get to the 50-yard line, and then you decide that you're so confident in your kicker that a 60-yard field goal is good enough. Instead of trying to get that one more first down where then you can run the clock out, you take that field goal at the end. They don't get a chance to go get a field goal. Instead, we leave 50 seconds on the clock because we don't try to get that pick up that one more first down. And we try a 60-yard field goal, which I don't care who your fucking kicker is. You shouldn't be that goddamn confident in it. Yeah, you can be confident in a kicker, but you should be that confident that a 60-yard is just automatic. Especially a kicker that this is only his first or second game with you. We just signed this kicker last week because the other kicker, our main kicker, got hurt. He hit the kick, which is great. But still, if you had you had 2nd and 7 or 2nd and 8, and you ran the ball, and then you had 3rd and 7, you try to pick up that first down. The worst thing that can happen, you don't get the first down, you still get the chance to kick the field goal, but run a play, try to get that first down, because then you can run the clock down to 3 seconds, kick the field goal, and you beat Seattle. So I thought Steichen mismanaged the game there at the end. He got a little too conservative, settled for a 60-yarder instead of trying to get a little bit closer. And like I said, we kicked that field goal with 50 seconds left. What happens if you kick that field goal with 3 seconds left? Game's over. They don't have a chance to go down and go down. So to me, Steichen messed up at the end, got too conservative. I understand being conservative throughout the game on the offensive side. You don't want to make no big mistakes. Your defense is playing good. Defense didn't give up 1 touchdown to this great Seattle team. Which they're good, but I'm not as high on Seattle as everybody else. And I think yesterday's game kind of showed where Seattle is at a little bit. But yeah, Colts could have won. We could have very easily won that game. And I think and we've seen it before. Steichen sometimes gets too. I don't know if he locks up or what. He gets conservative at the end of the game. He done it against the Denver Broncos, and we got lucky to win that game because they got a penalty because he settled for a 64-yard field goal in that game and didn't try to get the first down. And then he basically done the same thing this game. So yeah, I think Steichen sometimes at the end of the games gets a little too conservative. But yeah, other than that, it was a great game. It's going to be interesting to see what the Colts do. I think they probably play Rivers again this week because you still technically you still have a chance to make playoffs if you win these 3 games, depending on what happens because you play Houston and Jacksonville the last 2 games of the season. so you still have a chance. So I think they'll play Rivers. I think if they lose the next game and they're out, I think you'll see them probably go back to Riley Leonard and let him get. But yeah, I think they're probably going to stay with Rivers another week.
It's kind of a catch-22 because with Rivers, he can't throw the ball downfield. It does give you another week to game plan, maybe put more screens and stuff. And he would be more comfortable. Maybe he could throw the ball a little further. They could work on that. But if you put the rookie quarterback in there, just like when he played the last time, they're going to blitz like crazy. And they couldn't. They never. I think they only sacked Rivers once. I mean, so he's getting rid of the ball. So where the young quarterback doesn't have that opportunity, he doesn't know defenses as well and stuff. So he's probably going to. They're going to bring the pressure.
Yeah, Rivers got us. Yeah, Rivers got some like the right plays. Hey, Rivers played great yesterday for a guy that hadn't played for 5 years. Like it wasn't his fault. Like I said, to me, it was the coach at the end of the game trying to make that first down. Throw it one of the screen passes that you've been throwing all day that had been working, or even if it don't work, try it. Yes. I'd rather you try to get the first down and hey, okay, you don't get it. Okay, big deal. Then to basically just take a knee and let's settle for a 60-yard field goal. Yeah, our defense has been playing great, so I understand. Hey, you think your defense is going to be able to stop them in 50 seconds? But then we had a terrible kickoff that put them in great position, and then you got to be a little more aggressive there at the end. But
one thing Seattle did too.
Other than that,
Seattle
was pretty good.
Yeah, Seattle made adjustments. They seen that Rivers can throw the ball downfield. In the first half, they was laying off the receivers. In the second half, they really came up on the receivers, and that made it tougher for us to complete passes. So Seattle did make adjustments. Yeah, but Seattle did not look good offensively, and a lot of that was. I mean, I'm not going to make excuses for them. A lot of it was coach defense. Coach defense played great. Jay, your thought?
They put pressure on Darnold, and if you put pressure on Darnold, he struggles.
Yeah, I call this game. If I had to nickname this game, it'd be the game of field goals because he ain't had but one touchdown. But boy, do they have a lot of field goals. And Jake Myers, I mean, his leg has got to be hurting, kicking all them damn field goals. I mean, holy crap! I mean, whoever had him on fantasy league, I mean, he probably had about 20 or 30 points just off of him alone. I mean, it was crazy. But I think you're right, though. The offense for Seattle, they didn't look as good, right? I mean, they didn't look like they were running the ball good. You guys had a lot of your cornerbacks hurt, so I felt like, okay, surely Seattle's going to exploit that. Let's see what they do.
No, be honest. You thought we were going to get boat raced. Be honest. You talked all that shit. We were going to get boat raced.
Yeah. I don't know if I used to run boat race. I'm not even sure what that phrase really means.
Pretty sure that's what you said. But yeah.
I don't know what boat race means, but
you said we was going to get beat bad. I don't know if it was boat race. I forget what the term was.
I don't know what boat race means. Because somebody Google Chat GPT or something.
It was some kind of term like that. He thought we were going to get it.
I don't know what boat. I think he'd been out there shoveling that snow too long. But no, hey, but I did say, I'm sure I said something to the effect of you guys were going to get routed. I felt like that because and the only reason I say that is because you didn't have a quarterback, and I didn't know how. I mean, look, Phillip Rivers off the couch after 5 years. I didn't know what to expect from that guy. Honestly, I didn't know what we were going to get. And he didn't do bad. He obviously can't really throw the long ball, which I think kind of hurt him a little bit. But and let's be honest, the hero for your team, honestly, was that offensive line. The Colts offensive line, I think they knew that, hey, Rivers ain't a mobile guy, and he's 44. And whatever it was, they blocked very well for him and allowed him to actually be able to do what he was doing and keeping you guys in the game. So I thought the hero of this game, other than Jake Myers for his team, was the offensive line for your team, honestly. It was a good game. It was better than I expected. Fantasy wise, I had the Seahawks as my defense. I didn't do as well as I was thinking I was going to do. So I had to eat a little humble pie on that one. And Tony, I played you this week, and I tip my hat to you, sir. You kicked my ass a little bit.
Yep.
Ripped up, Tony. It's not over yet, but good job. I know you're going to win. That's my concession speech. If I was president, I'm doing my early concession speech. I concede. I just need you not to let Gonzo win the league. Okay? Can you or Austin or anybody other than Chris, win the league because his head's gonna get blown up. His head's gonna be like this. It's gonna be crazy.
Okay, let's go to Frankie.
What?
Talk about the cold Seattle game.
I know you're talking about the Colts Seattle game. What do you want me to say, Tony? You want me to sit here and praise your 44-year-old fat quarterback? You want me to say, "Oh my God, this was such a good game because it was field goal after field goal"? No, it was more of anything you can do, I can try and do better. And you guys didn't do better. All right, you didn't do better on the coaching. And I agree with Chris. Shane Steichen was insane thinking to go for a 60-yard field goal with freaking 7 seconds left. For one, I just want to ask Chris, did you guys have at least one timeout?
I think we might not have had a timeout, but there was 50 seconds left. So we could have ran anything we wanted and had time to spike the ball and kick a field goal.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that definitely was bad.
I don't know what's worse. All right, I don't know what's worse. Either that or the fact that Seattle had it come down to a field goal against the Colts team who literally you guys stepped up defensively. Congratulations on that part because your defense is really hurt right now. And the fact that your defense stepped up really good against a good Seattle Seahawks team, that's a good part. And I think that's the MVP of your team for yesterday. And I know Jay, he just said the offensive line, which he's right because they protected Phillip Rivers well. But in my eyes, the MVP for that game has got to be the Colts defense because this could have gotten out of hand. It could have got worse. But the fact that you guys rattled Sam Darnold, it's nothing new to me. I've seen Sam Darnold rattled many times. And when you rattle him like that, he doesn't play well. And Chris is right. And I don't think he doesn't play well. I think when you rattle him like that, he sees ghosts. And I'm going to keep saying that until the day I either die or the day he dies or the day he retires.
Who made him see ghosts the first time?
Against the Patriots.
That's true.
Hey, Frankie. Hey, what do you think about this here? Right here. Look at this. It's more to let you know. Oh, Rob's coming out slinging.
He listen. I was dealing with him. He's not gonna get me, and I see what Jay's trying to do. Jay think he could do what I can do, but I'm not Jay. All right. I'm a different person from Jay. If I was to do it to Jay, Jay's gonna come in with some fire like, no, not me. All right, I don't listen to people like Rob. He's a Seattle fan, Jay. He's a Seattle fan. You know why he's mad? Because he should have ran the ball in Super Bowl 49. That's why, but he didn't. And who got the ring, Robert? So you can say whatever you want. At the end of the day, we got a ring. You don't. All right. I mean, you do got a ring, but not over us. So it doesn't get to me. It doesn't get to me at all. At the end of the day, he's a Seattle Seahawks fan, and you had to win by 3 points against an injured Colts team with a fat 44-year-old quarterback.
Ooh, man, Chris. Now,
but
Chris,
just the way.
Check this one out right here.
Work. Jay,
I love this. Watch this. Robert says, problem with the Seahawks is they play their competition. They always play crappy when they play crappy teams. So is
that something like? Crappy. I don't think that's something good.
That just sounds like a typical fan when their team don't play as good as they want to. They always say their team's crappy. Like you do it, I do it. Everybody does that. So I don't mean nothing to me.
Yep.
You know what's funny to me is he's talking so highly. He's talking so highly of the Seahawks. But when your team don't even look that good right now, and you're winning 3 points against the Colts team, you know what that tells me? That tells me, and I'm gonna say what he said to me earlier on the chat. You're a one and done team in the playoffs, sir. You're gonna be a one and done team in the playoffs, and I can't wait because when you're a one and done team in the playoffs, guess who's gonna disappear? There's not gonna be not one name saying Robert Wardell on our chat because he's gonna go in hiding mode like Aaron Rodgers.
All right, guys, let's move on to Denver and Green Bay. Denver won 34-26. Denver had 391 total yards of offense, 303 passing, 88 rushing, give up no sacks, did have one fumble. Green Bay, 362 total yards of offense, 247 pass, had 115 rush. They did give up 3 sacks and two interceptions. I think the big thing here is the injuries for Green Bay. Of course, they lost Parsons. When Parsons went out, they was ahead. And then also they lost Watson again at the receiver position. Parsons is going to be out for a while. I mean, I don't know how far it will go into next year. He tore his ACL, but again, I don't know what grade of tear. Denver looked pretty good. I like Denver a lot, especially if they get home field advantage. I think they'll have a good shot of maybe making it to the Super Bowl with home field. Without home field, I'm not as sure. But right now, that's what they do have that. Frankie, I know they're a big competition for you in New England. I think you guys are probably maybe the two best teams in the AFC. So your thoughts on this Denver Green Bay game?
I thought it was a really good game. Green Bay came out with a good little offense. Obviously, they didn't start off getting touchdowns. They ended up getting the first 2 field goals. Yeah, you heard my kid in the background. I'm starting to kick them in their fucking face. Excuse my language. It's okay when it's your kid, Tony. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Chris, Chris, I know Chris knows what I'm talking about too. And Chris just be like, it's a wrestling move to Austin, but nah, not really. No, it was a good game. I honestly, I felt like it would have been way better if Michael Parsons would have never tore his ACL. Because once Michael Parsons went down, I felt like that was like the heart stopper right there. Like your best player on your defense went down, and everything just like went to shambles. Like the offense was gone. Then you also lose Christian Watson on a long ball play which got intercepted. But then he ended up hurting his shoulder in the process, who's now considered week to week. It would have been a way better game if Michael Parsons was playing. But damn, man, Denver always coming from behind and finding a way to get a win. I don't know when this is going to end, but if this is going to keep happening, you can guarantee that they could possibly be a Super Bowl contending team in the AFC. I feel like, if the Patriots don't make it to the AFC Championship game, which I'm not sitting here saying we are going to go there, the only best possibility that we can see will be Denver Broncos versus Buffalo Bills, because at this very moment, Josh Allen doesn't have nobody that he's used to losing to in the playoffs that are currently in there right now. There's no Joe Burrow, there's no Patrick Mahomes, and there's no Lamar Jackson currently right now. So, I mean, we could possibly see a Denver Bronco versus Buffalo Bills matchup, and that would be amazing to see, because these are two teams that, honestly, in my opinion, like to come from behind, and they're the two teams that successfully do it. So it'll be a really good game to see them two go at it. But I don't know I don't know what this is going to look like for Green Bay now going forward, losing Michael Parsons in that defense.
Yeah, they could be in trouble. I think they are. They may. I mean, they're not a guarantee to make the playoffs now. I mean, I know they're in right now, but it's going to be interesting. Chris, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it was a good football game. To me, it hurt Parsons. It hurt that they lost Parsons. They lost him in the third quarter of the game, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got something playing on my fucking phone. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Oh, stupid shit. Let me get back to the screen I was on. But no, good game. To me, one of the big difference in the game was penalties. Green Bay had 10 penalties for 72 yards. It's hard to win against good teams if you're giving up that many yards in penalties. And then to me, the difference in the game, is the red zone. The Broncos were 4-4 in the red zone. They had 4 touchdowns and they got in the red zone 4 times. Green Bay was 1-4, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Green Bay was 1-4 in the red zone. They scored 1 touchdown when they got in the red zone. And to me, that was the biggest difference in the game. But both teams ran the ball pretty good. I mean, if you look at their yardage, it was real close. The Broncos only had about 30 more yards than what Green Bay did. Green Bay actually rushed for a few more yards. So, I mean, if you look at most of the stats, they're pretty even. But, yeah, I think the biggest difference in that game is Broncos was able to execute in the red zone, and Green Bay didn't execute as well in the red zone. I think both these teams will probably end up making the playoffs. I still think Green Bay makes the playoffs. They still have a real good defense. Their pass rush isn't going to be quite as good, but I think they'll still be able to make the playoffs. And Denver just keeps proving that they're a good team, and that offense is starting to look better. That was my main concern with them earlier in the year, was their offense was not very consistent. Bo Nix has been playing a lot more consistent the second half of the season, and Denver's looking like a pretty well-oiled machine going into to the last few weeks of the season. Big win for the Broncos, and then for Green Bay, you just got to figure out what you can do at a for your pass rush. I still think they'll be all right because with their offense getting some of the receivers getting healthy, they've been playing good. But yeah, the big thing to me was on this game was the production in the red zone by the Broncos. You're not going to win very many or lose very many games when you go perfect in the red zone.
And Denver's defense is good. Like you said, they kept them from getting touchdowns, and that's kind of what won the game for them. And also, I think Denver got 3 sacks on Green Bay, and Denver didn't give up any sacks. So them sacks came at key times in that game because I watched the second half of that game. So big win for Denver. Jay, your thoughts?
Real quick, Robert, I do agree with you. That's been my thing about the Broncos all year. It seems like a lot of times that they wait to the fourth quarter to start playing. So yeah, I agree with you. They got to figure out how to play the first and second quarters like they play the fourth quarter, because that's been one of my big things on the Broncos all year as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Chris and Robert, on that take as well. Yeah, they do wait a little bit too long on that. This is an interesting game. Number one, I felt like Denver with this win now has the best record in their league now, and I think the Patriots go to the number 2 team or number 2 seed in that. But when you look at that, they didn't run the ball. If I'm thinking correctly, Denver only ran the ball for like 3 yards a carry, somewhere in that neighborhood. Like Harvey wasn't running that ball all that well. But what they did do well is defensively. Patrick Surtain is a hell of a good corner, and obviously that's the one where Watson goes out with the injury. I think Surtain fell on top of him, or he fell on top of Surtain, one way or the other. That's where he gets that stomach injury, which he went to the hospital for. So I guess he's going to be okay in terms of Watson. But when you look at this is the second time I think in Bo Nix's career that he's thrown 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers. And so that just kind of tells you. And at Green Bay's defense, before Parsons goes out, Green Bay's defense is a pretty good damn defense. It's not like he's going against a slouch defense. So I thought the team performed well against Green Bay. Obviously, Green Bay is going to take a step back. Chris, I think you're right. I think they probably do make the playoffs as a wild card team. I don't think they're completely out of that. But it definitely opens it up for the Bears to continue doing what they're doing in that division and soaring in their division. But at the end of the day, though, Broncos came out and played well offensively. Defensively, I thought they did a great job, and they took the win.
Yeah, Green Bay still got a shot for the division, and they got a shot to not make it. I mean, Green Bay, I know, still plays Chicago one more time.
Right.
That's a big game. I think Detroit maybe have a game with one of those teams or maybe both teams too. So it's still going to be interesting. Detroit's on the outside looking in, so it's going to be tough, a lot tougher for Detroit. The big thing is Green Bay was ahead 23-21 when Parsons got hurt, and
Right.
it did have an effect on him. There's no doubt about it. But like you said, you he's gone now. You got time to make adjustments and be more prepared. Without him.
The key thing for me, though, on that, honestly, is can that defense step up without having Parsons there? Because it took Dallas when we lost Parsons. It took Dallas, and we had to bring in free agents to help us out. Now at this point, Green Bay really can't bring in free agents. They have to work with what they have. And I don't know if what they have defensively is going to be enough to take over the division from Chicago. I might be wrong on that, though.
Yeah. One other thing on Denver, real quick. I think that like you said, they've not played well a lot of times, and they play well in the fourth quarter. That could come back to bite them because you get in the playoffs. If they, for example, let's say they play New England and New England jumps on them like they did Buffalo, I don't think Denver comes back. I don't think Denver comes back on them like Buffalo because they don't have an Allen. So, I mean, I'm not saying Nick is not a good quarterback, but he's not Josh Allen, at least not yet, for sure. So I think Denver's got to be careful. They've got to play more consistently 4 quarters if they want to make a run in the playoffs. Okay, guys. Next game up, Minnesota and Dallas. Minnesota winning this game 34-26. One of the things that stood out to me in this game was, and I know Dallas ended up going 3 for 4 on fourth down, but Minnesota went 3 for 3 on fourth down, and they were big plays. They were big pickups, and it really To me, it was almost, in certain ways, it was almost a game. Them 3 pickups, especially one of them was a long pickup where they almost got into field goal range on a 4th down. It was a big pass play. Minnesota, like they talked during the broadcast, we talked off the air. Collinsworth talked out and called it out. He said Minnesota's to be in this game. They've got the receivers, and you got to go after the weakness of Dallas, and that's defensive back. If Minnesota wanted to have a chance, that's what they had to do, and they did it. And Dallas's defensive backs didn't step up, and that's the difference in the game. I mean, I'm not trying to put down Dallas. We're just being honest.
You're good. Yeah.
Dallas has a pretty good offense. They scored 26 points. Most times, you score 26 points, you should have a chance to win. So Jay, let's go to you on your thoughts on this Dallas loss.
Oh yeah, look, and I know you're not trying to put down Dallas because Dallas put their own selves down. At the end of the day, I mean, here's the thing, right? They did what Dallas did. Dallas upgraded the run defense, and they did exactly that. They stopped the run. I think they only gave up like 2.8 yards collectively. I think they gave up 77 yards on 28 carries. So the run defense did exactly what they were supposed to do. But to your credit and to your point, Tony, like you said, we don't have too good of a secondary. Now, there were a couple of good spots where Bland was really tattooed on top of Jefferson and did a good job blocking some of those passes. I'll give a shout out to Bland. And I thought Ravel did a good job as a rookie coming in for, I think, his 2nd or 3rd game ever since being drafted. So I thought he did a pretty good job. But ultimately, we did. You're right. We lost a battle in the secondary, and that's where they got us, and it is what it is at the end of the day. I felt like Javonte Williams did a good job running the ball. I felt like Dak did a good job passing the ball. We just didn't have enough on that secondary side, which is our main weakness. I think our pass rush could have been a little bit better. But again, when you don't have a quote-unquote legitimate pass rusher, it's hard. And I think we did the best with what we had. But I'm hoping that when we go into this offseason, they start drafting, they better draft some pass rushers. And they better do what they can to find a good pass rusher.
Yeah, Dallas has got a lot of questions. Do you sign Javonte Williams back? I think his contract's up. I think it goes on 1 year. And then you also got Pickens, who's one to get paid. So there's 2 big things. Can you get that done? And can you get better your defensive backs? You got to get better defensive backs. Pass rusher helps, but they've got to get better in the backfield. Defensive backfield. Chris, your thoughts on this game?
It ended up being a pretty good game. The game went a lot like I figured it was going to. Because to me, going in this game, Dallas and Minnesota are pretty 2 even teams. I know Jay don't want to hear that, but going into this game, to me, they're pretty much about the same team. Dallas has a little bit better. Dallas has a better quarterback, but their defenses are pretty similar. And there was one game between the record other than the tie Dallas had. So it wasn't like Dallas had won a lot more games. And the game came down to what came down to me was red zone. Again, like Minnesota was 3 for 4 in the red zone. Dallas was 2 for 5. I mean, that's the difference in the game. Dallas missed a couple field goals, which is uncharacteristic of their kicker, especially like that dude usually don't miss. They missed a couple field goals, which hurt him, but still would have had you a little bit short of the final score. But I mean, that could have helped the game. I think the missed field goals, but to me, it was a red zone. Minnesota was able to punch the ball in where Dallas had to settle a few times. But no, pretty good football game. Reason I chose Minnesota in this game was because J.J. McCarthy, if you watched Minnesota last few games, he looks like he's starting to get it a little bit. He is improving. So I thought their offense would play better. Their offense played a little bit better. And then and they were able to get a couple sacks on Dak. But yeah, good football. It was a good fun football game to watch last night for a night game. Probably better than a lot of people thought it was going to be. A lot of people probably would just saw that as a Sunday night game, figured, oh, this game isn't going to be a real good game. Dallas might blow them out, or there ain't going to be no point. You just never, you know how the games go. But no, it was a good competitive game. And Minnesota was able to pull it out.
Yeah, it's a game Dallas definitely could have won. I did one thing. I did see article that Minnesota's coach was pretty upset with McCartney for his little thing when he ran in the end zone, the way he did the football, and I heard the coach.
I did the gritty.
Yeah, I heard the coach got on him. Also, I did like that fake. It was the fake. Was it the punt or was it a field goal? Which was it? Dallas pulled off.
No, it was the field goal,
Field goal.
and then he ran off to the
That-
side.
that- That was well done.
Dallas's defense done a good job on Justin Jefferson. They had Justin Jefferson tied up all night. Like he could. I think he only had 2 receptions. He couldn't get going. I mean, like their secondary, Dallas's secondary didn't play terrible.
Yeah. Chris, I wanted to go back to something because the guy asked a question and we didn't address it. Jeremy Perry, who's a big Bears fan, he asked a question about the Colts and the coach. He was wondering, do you think he'll be there next year? Does he get fired?
I don't know. I was thinking about this last night. That's something I still got to think about a little more and do a little more research on before I come with the exact answer. I think there's a possibility. You just don't know because you got new owners.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all as Colts fans, and even not even Colts fans, just as NFL fans. You're used to Jim Irsay being the owner, and what would Jim do? Well, we kind of know what Jim would do, but we don't know what Carly and the other 2 sisters are going to do. I think there's a possibility he could get fired, especially if these last 3 games don't go well. Me personally, I kind of lean toward that they're probably going to keep him another year, keep him and Ballard probably another year, and then move. And if things don't go. And the reason I say that is just because of some things that happened this year, like you were 8-1, then your quarterback breaks his leg, and then it just seems then you lose. Yeah. You make a trade to get a top corner, you lose him, then you lose your other top corner. With just everything that happened. I think that Ballard and Steichen will probably get another year and see how next year goes. But I mean, I wouldn't be real surprised though if they decide to move on from Steichen to Ballard either, because I also think in a way when it don't go good, they want to put their name on the franchise and pick their GM and pick their head coach. So then it can't be said, oh, this is what this was coming from their dad's time. So I kind of lean both ways, but I lean stronger that Ballard and Steichen will be back for at least one more season.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they, because like you said, they're new owners. So if they got rid of him, I think considering how things happened this year with the injuries, I think he deserves another year, even though I've not agreed with all of his calls, getting conservative. But again, he knows what he had playing in that game. I understand why he was conservative. I know Chris don't necessarily agree.
I don't care that he was conservative most of the game. It's there at the end. There's 50 seconds left. 50 seconds. You have nothing to lose. Go try to get that first down. If you don't, guess what? You can still try that 60-yard field goal. But if you get the first down, it's ball game. You get the first down, then all you have to do is hit the kick in this ball game. They never get the ball back. It was just that was right there. That was the time to make your move. If you're going to play conservatives, you got to pick and choose when you're going to be a little aggressive. And at the end of the game, when the game's on the line, that's the time. Me personally, I like Steichen, but you know this. In a way, I'd like to see them. I know you're not going to be able to do it because of the way business runs. I think Steichen's a great offensive coordinator. I think the Colts need to find a way to leave him offensive coordinator and hire a different fucking head coach. Because I think sometimes trying to do both, call the plays and be the head coach, it gets a little too much for him, and he gets.
But you can't do that. No, so I mean,
before I said that, didn't you hear what I said? I know that's not going to happen, but
that's why he's throwing these crazy things out.
Me, Steichen's a great coordinator. I don't know if he's a great head coach.
I have an answer for that. There have been times they've hired assistant head coaches. Hire another guy to come in and take some of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Some stuff that he don't, as a head coach, that he could give up. And, not everything, because he still got to make the final decision, but take some pressure off him that way, and he could be the offensive coordinator. Because there's been teams that do that before. So, I mean, I think didn't the Colts do that with Caldwell one time when he like an assistant head coach to won Super Bowl for Dungy. I think he was like an assistant head coach at one point. So I think that's something they could do. The other thing, if I can get it back in my head, I know what it is. Quarterback wise, with the injury to Jones, I think they're going to try to re-sign Jones. There's been a lot of talk that they think Jones could be ready by the start of the season next year. Okay, let's say he is. If my opinion, I wanted to get your guys' opinion. If I'm the coach, I get a backup plan in case he's not ready, and I'd go out and try to get a Mariota or the guy with San Francisco, the backup quarterback there. I would try to get me an insurance
Mac
policy.
Jones.
Mac Jones or somebody like that as an insurance policy. I think that they need to do that because under the situation, you don't know if Jones is going to be ready to start the season. So, Chris, what do you think? And then Jay, what would you think about that?
Okay, real quick, Joe. Yeah, it was third down, but guess what? There was 50 seconds left. You could get tackled in the middle of the field, run around, do a dance, and still have time to spike the fucking ball in 50 seconds.
But you can't spike it.
You can't spike it. No, you can't spike it. Yeah, you can't spike it. But guess what? You can run. You can bring your field goal team out there.
Yeah. You have your field goal. You have your field goal team ready. You got 30. You got 40 seconds.
You had plenty of time. And guess what? Yeah. They're going to call a timeout. They're going to call a timeout because I think they had one timeout left. They're going to use their last timeout to stop the clock. Plus,
the other key is you should run a pass play, and you should go more than 7 yards. So if he catches it, it's going to be you're going to be complete. And if he does miss at the time, the clock stops.
Yeah, but with 50 seconds left, you can do whatever you want because you have time to get your.
I agree.
There's only 20 seconds left or 15, but you had almost a minute left. Like to me, that's you got to take a chance at.
I agree. What do you think? What do you think? What I said about the quarterback position for next year, Chris?
It's going to be interesting. A lot of it's going to depend on when he comes back, and the other thing about that is they have to sign him, because he was only signed for 1 year. I think they're probably going to end up franchise tagging him for next year. Is what I think they're probably going to end up doing with Jones. Keep him for another year, and then see if he's healthy, and then maybe sign him after that. But no, I do agree. If you're going to stick with Jones, you do need to get your good backup. I think Riley Leonard might end up being a decent backup as well. I mean, he didn't play terrible when he got to play. I understand why they're doing what they're doing right now. But yeah, a lot depends on who's available. I mean, if you can get a Mac Jones, you go get him. But is Mac Jones going to be available, and how much is that going to cost you? Because San Francisco, they're not going to want to lose Mac Jones because they're going to want to have him in case Purdy goes down. So or they could be stupid like Minnesota last year and just decide to get rid of all of our quarterbacks and go with the rookies. So you never know. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a smart move to maybe try to go after a Mac Jones or somebody like that. But yeah, a lot of it depends on who's available. Yeah. And then the main thing is how is Jones's rehab going and what's his timeline looking like? And coming off an injury like that, like a lot of times, they say it takes you a year, but a lot of times a year to get back. But then it takes another few months to get back. So
that's my concern. Jay, your thoughts on that, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, my thing with the Colts is I don't, you already have Anthony Richardson that you still have there, but he's hurt. I know. So yeah, it's going to be when they go in the offseason, they're going to have to evaluate what they have and where you're right. Where do you go? Because obviously Phillip Rivers, you can use him this year, but that's just to kind of get you to the end of the season. But that's not your obviously your long-term solution. So now you got to figure out, okay, we got Daniel Jones, but we're probably not going to have Daniel Jones for about 9 months because he's got to go through all that Achilles and all that kind of, rehab. So then you got Anthony Richardson. Well, how long is Anthony Richardson going to be out for? So you already got those two guys. So yeah, you probably do need to bring in a third one. Maybe a Mac Jones. I just don't know if San Francisco would let go of Mac Jones because they've already been through that when the playoffs had 1 year when they lost all their quarterbacks with injury in the playoffs. Remember that? I forget what it was. Was it Purdy? I think that went down, and then after that, it was the other guy that went. They had I think they were using like an offensive linebackers or no, I mean like a linebacker to finish.
Well, they were using running back. They were using Christian.
Was it a running back? There you go to finish out the game. So I don't know if they're gonna let go of that security blanket that they have.
Yeah.
But either way, I do think maybe even looking in the draft, Tony, and find your quarterback in the draft. Maybe
I think Richardson is. I think I seen today he's cleared to come back right now. As far as
okay.
start activity, I don't know. I'm not saying he's ready to come back and
Right.
play, but he's ready to come back, start activity. This is my opinion. Richardson won't be on the Colts team next year.
I don't,
That's
I don't
just my
think he will
opinion.
be because this will be the year they'll have to sign him to a new contract if they're going to keep him.
I think with Jones' situation, you go out and find a suitable backup player or somebody ready to start in case Jones can't, and somebody with experience, and then you keep Leonard as your third guy because I think they like Leonard, and he could be a guy.
They had Riley Leonard. I forgot about that.
He could be a guy that sets back there for 3 or 4 years and ends up being the Colts quarterback later on. But so I think they keep Leonard, but I do think that they would go after somebody. I like Mariota. I love the guy with San Francisco. Again, would they be available? I don't know that. So
Robert, if you're right and that was to happen, and the Colts get Russell Wilson, I've never said this before, but I will find a new fucking team to root for. If the Colts are enough to go get Russell Wilson, I'll pull a dad. I'm going to be a Bengals fan or a fucking.
I've never done that before. I did.
You always say that. Y'all ain't going nowhere. Just stop talking. You're not going nowhere.
Say that.
No,
I know, but even I know you're just speaking out of emotion right now. You went Frankie on me. Don't go Frankie.
If they sign Russell Wilson,
it'd be tough if they brought Russell Wilson in. It'd be tough.
I mean,
of course it'd be tough.
I'd rather have the other guy that was their backup.
Look, the Cowboys brought in Ryan Leaf, man. Ryan freaking Leaf, and I stayed there.
Yeah, I take Jameis Winston before I take Russell Wilson.
Well, yeah, I would too. I mean, the only problem with that is Jameis Wilson or Winston would cost more money against the cap. So I think more likely you might want to go with Russell Wilson because he wouldn't cost you nothing.
Yeah.
You probably you get him on the down low cheap. You know what I'm saying? Look, if you're gonna bring back a 44-year-old freaking Rivers, why wouldn't you bring in a Russell Wilson on a cheap deal?
Because a 44-year-old Phillip Rivers is better than a 20 or 30-year-old Russell Wilson.
Hey, mentality-wise, did you see him on the sideline? The way he was talking to the players and the leaders, he'd run great leadership to that team for that game.
No, Joe, I'm not becoming a Cowboys fan. That'd be the last team I ever switched to.
Don't worry, we wouldn't even send you an invite.
Hey, Joe already invited me. Joe invited me.
Joe's in Italy. He don't even speak English all that well. Just leave him. He don't know what he's saying.
Hey, before we get out of here, guys, real quick, I did want to say, and I've got a prediction: the team to watch out for in the AFC, and it's hard for me to say this. It is Houston.
Yeah,
they're getting better offensively. The running game worries me. You're getting bad weather. And they're not going to have home field, so that the running game worries me. But other than that, with their defense, if they can, I've been saying, if they can score 20 points, they're capable of beating New England. They're capable of beating Buffalo. They're capable. I'm telling you, watch out for Houston.
We don't need Gino either. Laughing out loud.
No, I don't want no damn Gino either.
I don't know though. Hey, look, Gino didn't do bad when he was with Seattle. He hasn't been at his best with the Raiders.
How many years ago was that he was good in Seattle?
That would have been about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. But I will give Gino a little.
What do you want, Chris? Play. You can't have everything.
No, he don't have any weapons in Seattle. But I think he's also in a. I agree. He's in a funk. He may be done. They hit a wall eventually. He may have hit the wall.
Yeah, Robert, I hear that. And again, they have an elite defense. There's nobody going to say that Houston have an elite defense. The offense, they're still kind of see what the offense is about. But, yeah, man, I mean, we're going to find out one way or the other. And Jacksonville's still playing some good ball, too. I mean, they destroyed the Jets. 28 points?
I believe in Houston more than I do Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you there. I'm just saying, but there's some teams out there, though, that I'm curious to see what this is going to look like. When we hit the playoffs, there's going to be a lot of craziness, I think. I think Jacksonville to me, I mean, I don't think they're the best team in there, but, I mean, they could pull a surprise. They could pull a Cinderella type thing. They have a team there. I mean, it just depends on how much do you believe in Trevor Lawrence to be consistent.
Yeah, that's true. They got a good running game, and their defense is decent. All right, guys, let's get out of here. I think we had a good show. Hope everybody had a good time. Me and Chris will be back later on we got Gonzo's Wrestling Room at 6:30ish. Got a big show there and tonight, and then tomorrow we'll be back in the afternoon, and then we also got our basketball show. Chris, what's the name of that again?
Thursday
Tuesday night hoop talk.
or Tuesday night. Hoops Talk.
Tuesday night hoop talk. Yeah. So we'll be talking some college basketball a little bit and some NBA. So on Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central.
That is affirmative.
Hopefully everybody has a great day. If you're in a cold place like me, try to stay warm. And see everybody tomorrow.
Deuces.